Good. Let's go.
Okay.
So today we will talk about the Ignite methodology and our approach to predictive analytics and decision intelligence, and make this very concrete with 3 keys you need to stay ahead in business. And you can apply these 3 keys to answer different business questions, like assessing what your customers are likely to buy over the upcoming 18 months time period. So what are the steps that you need to master? When we utilize this approach and our technology, the focus is to drive incremental business improvements. How can we impact the P&L? And we have seen that for every billion of addressed revenue, we can find at least 8 million of annual EBIT improvements by addressing the full P&L and look for opportunities from top line to bottom line, volume or SG&A. Right now, we're working with a couple of clients where we are helping them mitigating the lost revenue in Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus, and rebalance their financial plan with the support of the insights to drive opportunities in other geographies. And we're in the mining and construction space, we're tracking the commodities exposure to support this. And we will have a separate webinar on this topic. I will not spend too much time on that right now, but I'll come back to that in the end. So let's dive into today's topic, 3 keys to stay ahead in business. So the first key is to understand the drivers that impacts your business. And what we mean here is different internal and external indicators that helps you get a lead indication of where the market is heading. We'll come back to this key in a little bit more granularity shortly. The second key is to identify how you can boost your margin and profits through the insights from those tracked indicators. So the indicators becomes the ingredients to the predictions that we produce that will help you change perspective from looking back to looking forward. So that's the second key, predict. Now we have an understanding of what's going on in the market. We can translate that to what it means for us. And then the key is to act on these insights and start to implement decisions that can drive better financial results. So to keep it short, we focus on these 3 key perspectives: track, predict, act. Make sure that you understand what is happening in the market, what is likely to happen in the upcoming period, and how should we make that happen? Or how can we translate this to our ideal future by taking actions today to impact our business development in the upcoming period? So let's zoom into the first key here, track. So what we recommend our clients to do is to track both internal and external indicators. And that list can be short, that list can be long. If I should highlight 6 key perspectives here, it is to understand, of course, your pipeline. How is the opportunities developing in your CRM? Do you have good control of your conversions and how that have been supporting your previous business periods? But the data in the CRM system often only supports you maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months into the future. If you want to extend that to 12, 18, 36 months, you need other indicators to help you. But we also need to understand the concrete result of the target that we are predicting. So the historical trends, the historical time series in the target that we try to understand. And that can be order intake, it could be revenue, it could be EBIT, it could be pipeline conversions. So it can really be any target that you want to predict. But when it comes to order intake and revenue, we believe that internal indicators such as CRM data and fleet or installed base and the utilization of your installed base are all solid indicators. And many of these you have looked at over time and tried to understand, but often we feel it's been a backwards view. How did the last quarter end? And less focus on how will the next few years develop. And to bridge that, the external indicators is a great support. And here I'm highlighting three perspectives. So the macroeconomical development. What's the macroeconomical market environment? What is the sentiment in the market? Can you take that GDP number and break it down to your specific industry? In many markets, we can follow the mining GDP, for example. Now with the supply chain challenges that we've been facing, you have all seen the commodity spikes and how the commodity prices have developed. How will that impact either our demand or our cost structures, depending on what industry you're in? And then in the end, your customers. What's the financial health of your customers? So we support our clients through our platform and our APIs to retrieve these indicators, and have already mapped the external indicators towards the system. And of course, you can do this in any shape, form that you prefer.
Andreas has a question here from an attendee here.
Yep.
So why is it important to combine this internal and external data?
Yeah, you get a very different view. If you're isolating yourself only on your internal data, there is a big risk that you can't really see how you perform against your peers, or if that development is strong or weak. By combining the external indicators, we can judge if we are likely to take market share, or if we're overperforming or not. If we're just isolating it to our internal view, we miss the big opportunities or potential challenges from an external perspective.
So, okay. So what, and also come up with another question. What is the best practice to manage all this data?
Yeah, you need, of course, the cloud infrastructure provides a lot of opportunities. We are benefiting from the Azure cloud infrastructure ourselves. Of course, you could use AWS or other solutions, but let's make sure that it comes into an operational collaborative platform where you can share insights and results and drive actions between teams. And that's where we see that some organizations have been failing, and they have solved only the technical piece, but not the operational element.
Okay.
When I mentioned here customer financial health, really be able to connect the dots between their profitability, their revenue growth, and their investments in our clients' products and services have been eye-opening in many studies we have performed, how we really can make that connection, and the balance between CapEx spend and OpEx spend. So will there be focus on getting most out of already acquired equipment, or are they ready to modernize or invest in electrification, automation, digitalization, etc.? I hope that gives you a little bit sense of the ingredients that we support and we collect, and that we recommend that you use from a track perspective. Then we take this in to the next layer, or next perspective, the next key, where you can combine these indicators to make a very solid prediction on what's likely to happen in an upcoming period. It can, for example, be used to really boost performance in your sales and operational planning, or in your financial planning for that matter. So what we're doing here is that we are using traditional machine learning methods in an operational way, where we have the historical time series. The black line here in the middle is the development we have seen over that time period, that is being the time series that is being digested or investigated, studied, explained. And then we allocate one period of that time series for training, and letting the machine learning methods explore the relationships and combining those indicators that we mentioned in track. And of course here, you should be cautious for overfitting and just include indicators that you can judge from your business standpoint being relevant to explore. And then the approach will disqualify some and potentially recommend others. So you get people and technologies combined here in a powerful way. So you train the model, you then verify the result during the verification period, and then you predict the likely outcome in the upcoming period. And based on these insights, you can take relevant actions. But you can also stress test this prediction based on your business knowledge and to get answers to your what ifs and create alternative scenarios based on indicators that are yet not seen in the market. Because this model will not predict the black swans, but it can help you add those conditions in and get alternative scenarios for that predicted period.
There came another question here, Andreas.
Yes.
How accurate has your prediction been?
Yeah, we have assessed that in all of the initiatives over different time periods. And one example I can mention is that we compared the predicted result with outcome result over 5 months, and we were within 5% deviation. But each model needs to be tweaked and improved over time to maintain and improve performance.
So that's another question. How does it work? Can you explain more how this process is working? I think that is the question.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So how the process is working. So I mentioned people and technology, combination of people and technology. Today we're talking about the methodology, the approach, the theory. You turn this theory into practice with our technology or your own in-house developed approaches. But of course, we recommend our SaaS solution, the Ignizer, to make this fully operational. And there we feed the indicators into the track layer. We select the indicators in predict. The solution is training the model and recommending a prediction that you can later on generate forecasts and scenarios from by making your tweaks through the interface. And in a separate webinar later on, we can run a proper demo of the application, or you can send a message directly in the chat here, and we will reach out to you to have a one-on-one demo.
And the next webinar, we would actually do it, customer case, right?
Next webinar, we will talk about mining equipment and show this in practice, how we can use the indicators and the predictions to get an understanding of development of demand. That's correct. So we have talked about track. We're now talking about predict, and then we come to act. So from these different insights, you can directly take that into your tactical or strategic initiatives. But before I do that, maybe I should actually go back to your questions, Torbjörn. You asked, how is this done? Yeah. And I realized I have a couple of slides that I can use to add more meat to the bone.
Yeah, show that.
Okay, so when we do the predictions, we select a certain scope. It could be orders received on capital goods. It could be orders received on aftermarket products. It could be any specific target that you want to explore and understand. Then we do the preparation, or the solution makes the preparation by selecting the indicators that you do as a user. The solution is then working with data engineering to prepare the indicators with different rolling average, deltas, and lags, so that they have the indicators prepared for the modeling. And then they search for correlations and linear and non-linear correlations or effects, and are assigning different weights to these indicators, and also testing the performance and selecting the machine learning method that generated the best result. And then we get an output per country and target on the product resolution we have specified, and then gets an output in the system on the likely business development for the upcoming period, if that was the target. And here we have a concrete example where we're looking at net sales for a certain product group in a certain market. This was heavily correlated with the commodity market. We test multiple machine learning approaches, and in this case, random forest performed best. And with different weights associated to these indicators, the output was produced. So
yeah,
that's an example.
all this is doing in the background. You initiate it from the front end, from the interface in the platform.
Yes. So many of these steps are there to support the user, but they don't need to fully set these parameters. It's done automatically in the backend. And for a business scientist, it could be interesting to also get full insight into the nitty-gritty details, of course.
Yeah.
So that's track and predict, and now we should act on the insight. So we have seen where the market is heading. Are we ready for that profitable growth, to capture that profitable growth? Or is there a region that sees slowdown or a shift between CapEx and OpEx spend? Are we ready for this? Or do we need to run a tactical or strategic initiative to implement a set of actions to really make sure that we steer the future in this direction? And that's where the act layer in the solution and in this methodology is for, which lets you easily link an insight to a set of actions and track that over time and close the loop to see, do we get the benefits that we expected? And if not, how can we change course along the way?
Yeah. And they ask here, is everything here included in our solution? Can you do all this in our solution, in the solution?
Yes. So you can of course do this as a one-time exercise without technology, but we recommend to take these perspectives and turn them into an operational flywheel by combining your expertise in the organization with the technology and automate the process as much as possible and make sure that it is not stuck in the lab environment, that it's not something that you have some of the talents in your organization exploring and testing and finding cool and exciting correlations, and then it's almost put in the closet. You need to make sure that this becomes an operational way of working so that you can capture the benefits again and again, and not stop after the first prediction. It should generate an action. You should iterate and produce updated predictions. We recommend monthly frequency. So based on changes in your internal and external indicators, how is that likely to impact your forward scenarios?
Yeah.
So yes, this is all supported in the technology. And
which technology are we using? There was a question about technology and how we host it and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we have developed a proprietary layer, operational layer, that is the Ignizer, our SaaS application. It's a web-based application which you access through your browser. And it's deployed in Azure cloud infrastructure. So Microsoft Azure's cloud infrastructure, and we're utilizing ISO certified third parties for authorization, so that this is managed from a high security standard.
Okay.
From if we just take a glance on the solutions, we have talked about track, predict, act. So collect the indicators and prepare the indicators for the predictions, but also prepare it for your business users, so it's easy to digest and understand, and also slice and dice and turn it around. But of course, this part you could do in any BI platform. The key is to take these insights into the predictions to change view from what has already happened to what is likely to happen. And based on those insights, not stop there either, because the benefits are yet not visible in your P&L. You need to do something. You need to act on this to be able to capture the benefit. And that you can do in the third layer, act, where you track and execute initiatives to capture an opportunity or adapt your cost efficiency to a lower demand to maintain and improve sustainable, profitable growth. So this is the methodology. This is the recipe. And as Styrbjörn mentioned, and there was a question in the chat, how do you do this? How does it work? How do we make it practical? We will apply this methodology on concrete examples. Track, predict, act on an aggregated mining equipment market. So we have studied the 100 biggest mining companies in the world, and then I'm talking about Rio Tinto, etc., etc. So that list have been studied, and we know their financial health. We know how that financial health have developed over time. How has BHP's top line and bottom line developed? How has it followed the commodity price development, etc.? So we know that. We have also produced commodity price indices, so we understand the development in that market. We have studied the mining GDP. And then we have studied the financial performance of the top 12 mining equipment manufacturers, and how that sales development have been tracking over the last 10 years. And when we bring this together, we can get the forward view on the market. And that gives you a one-time example of this methodology. What we do when we work together with our clients is that we tweak all of the indicators based on each company's exposure, each company's relevant indicators, to create an operational decision intelligence platform supported by predictive analytics that they can benefit from day in and day out.
Yeah. Good. Yes.
So take the opportunity to sign up for the next webinar also, where we will explain what I just said, and we will also, for the participants, share our mining equipment market outlook. And even if you're not in this space, I think this report and webinar will help you understand how you can make this, how you can turn this recipe into something operational and very concrete. So the report, everyone will get the report, and the first 3 who register will also be offered a half-day free consultation in predictive analytics and decision intelligence.
Yes.
So I hope you have enjoyed this. Do we have more questions, Styrbjörn? Otherwise, I think we can start to come in for a landing.
We can come in for a landing. You can always send us an email or contact us if you have any questions outside this webinar. No problem.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you. And Styrbjörn, thanks for keeping an eye on the chat. It's difficult to do that.
And you.